Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rent Free with Mackenzie Davis. This week, we are talking about the power of habits, which is going to be really fun. I am new to this, I think, because I don't know. I guess I've always done habits like everybody does, but I'm really focusing in on habits this year and making sure that I'm refining the habits that I'm doing so that I'm more productive. And I've done a lot of research on habits, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it in general because I think that when we talk about productivity and we talk about real estate, our business plans, how we generate leads, they're all connected to your business model, which is connected to your habits. So it all kind of flows together, and that's kind of where the intention for this episode came from. But obviously, before we get there, I kind of want to just tell you guys what's been going on lately, as I usually do. Because I recorded the last episode literally the day that it was supposed to go up, this episode is only a few days later. I'm trying to be proactive this time. Go me. And I'm going to Punta Cana on Thursday. So I had to kind of do it, early this week so that I could be actually on vacation while I'm on vacation this time. So that's something I really prioritize as a realtor, that boundary of hey, I am on vacation, so I'll have to get to this when I get back home. Of course, I do everything that I need to before I leave to make sure that my clients are taken care of. But then once I leave for vacation, it's I'm on vacation kind of a thing. I'm not one of those realtors that's working on vacation usually, unless it's a last minute vacation or just a quick weekend thing where I'm just doing a quick trip. But if it is a vacation, you will not catch me working. So anyway, this is a vacation. I'm going with my best friend to Punta Cana, my best friend, and then her mom, and then her mom's friend group. So we're going to be the only two people in our 20s, and it'll be really fun, I think. It's a trip for really, we're kind of crashing it, I guess. It was their trip. But so far, we're doing a mud buggying excursion. We have it all inclusive, so all the food and drinks are included. It's on the beach, and I'm so excited to get tan and go swimming and just do all the things. So that is coming up this week for me. I'm kind of just in la la land because of that, because I'm starting to pack and just kind of getting things ready. It's also kind of stressful because you're working and packing and trying to maintain your house at the same time. That's something I've never really done before, is had to maintain a house while also going on vacation, because you have to think about groceries and stuff and what you want to buy and not buy because you're going to be gone. I didn't think about that, but my boyfriend will be here, so he obviously is going to be eating. But anyway, so that's that. And then work is just work. So I've been trucking along with clients. I did get my first contract of 2025 signed, which I touched on a little bit last week, and that's been great. It's set to close on my birthday, so happy birthday to me. It is a wholesaling contract, so it was more so a referral than it was me actually doing it, but it started as a listing, and then I was this house is not going to sell because it was in pretty poor condition. And then we ended up, wholesaling it to an investor. So that's really, I think, the most that's happened since I've talked to you guys last. I have off Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is perfect because that's the day we come home from Punta Cana, and then I'll be back into the swing of things. I feel that's when my holiday season ends. Not that that is considered the holiday season at all, but just I feel after that I can fully reset and be in the swing of things, because up until this point it had been Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and then I was back in the office for a few days. There was the snowstorm that happened. If you were in Maryland, you know about that. And so we were out of office for a few days, and then we just got back into office, and now I'm leaving again for this trip. So I'm just excited to be back in a routine once I get back home, so I can start working out regularly and doing all of the things and being in my habits, which is actually such a great transition for what we're going to be talking about today. Like I mentioned at the start of this episode, am not really a habit girl. Like it wasn't like I am like gung-ho habits, but I am like getting into this now, into the habit space, if you will. And I am kind of obsessing over it right now. This is something that if you guys have listened to past podcast episodes and then continue to listen to episodes, you'll notice this about me. I get these like obsessions, and I explained this in an episode before, but I think it's like an OCD thing about my personality. Like I kind of just have an obsessive personality with certain things. Right now it is just like habit tracking and tracking of data in general. I don't really know why. I think it really all started with my Aura Ring because it gives me so much data. And so I have used my entire homepage on my phone with widgets, and I've been tracking what I eat, how much water I'm drinking, how many steps I'm getting, how many workouts I've been doing, how many days without soda I've had, how many calories I burned, protein, fat, carbs. What else am I tracking in here? What time I went to bed, my different sleep cycles. So I have all of these different things here. And then in my habit tracker, I actually have even more of my habits in there. And I just keep things that I have not yet like solidified in my brain as a habit on my habit tracker. So if it's something I already do regularly, I'm not considering that like something I need to check off every day, because I feel like that would be like really redundant. And you have to think about how many things you do every day that is a habit. I mean, brushing your teeth, I guess, could be considered a habit, but you're not going to check a box every day that you brush your teeth because that's such a routine, or should be such a routine, that is like, you know, you're not going to really forget to do that unless you just like have a one-off forgetful day or whatever. And so really for me, I have my 4 like main habits that I'm working on right now. None of which are like pertaining to business or anything, just really personal goals. And I didn't mean like personal as in like I'm not going to share them with you, just meaning not business related. But the goals are 10K steps a day, 3 yoga or Pilates workouts a week, no soda, and then no eating after 9:30 p.m. And that's all just Monday through Friday, because I don't like to limit myself on the weekends. No sodas for every day. I'm just trying not to have sodas this year, and I haven't yet. But everything else is just Monday through Friday. And then I try to just kind of like let myself do whatever I feel like I kind of want to do over the weekend. Not like indulging, but whatever is happening. And I have been loving that so far. It's a really good balance where I feel like during the week, I feel regimented. I feel like I have a flow. I have a routine. Everything makes sense. I go to bed around 10:30 every night. So the stop eating at 9:30 is really just because I've heard that it's good to stop eating like an hour before you go to bed for digestion purposes and like for sleep purposes. So that's something I'm just trying to practice more and have been doing. The 10K steps is just more for cardio because I'm doing less of it than I used to. I was a big Orange Theory girl for like 4 years, almost 5 years. And then I just started doing more like solid core or core power, like yoga, stuff like that. And so I want to be getting more steps in. So I have like a walking pad, and I've been just like getting more walks in, kind of a thing. And then of course the no soda is just like unnecessary. I just always would be like, oh, it's a diet. It's still not good for us. Sorry if you like your diet. I'm sorry. I don't mean to rain on your parade, because like I love a diet soda too. I really do. And all of these things that I'm talking about today, I also give the exception to celebrations and holidays and things like that. Like when I go to Punta Cana, none of these things are applying. Like I'm not limiting myself in anything because it's a vacation and you shouldn't limit yourself on vacation. You're meant to enjoy that time, right? So you should like indulge in the things that you enjoy. But then I'll get right back on my sort of like habit tracking and stuff. And the habit tracker app actually has a function where you can turn it on, like do not disturb or something. So it'll let you know when you're away. You can do the same thing with your Aura Ring too, so that you can be like, hey, I'm not going to be doing these habits this week or whatever, which makes my brain feel better for some reason. And so those are kind of like the habits and things that I have set up for myself. I just wanted to like lay that out before I even got into what the heck I'm talking about habits for, because I feel like it's important for you to know, just going into it, what I'm focused on, I guess. Probably like, why are you telling us all of your habits? I don't know really. I mean, I think I just want to be honest and transparent about what I do so that you guys have that foundation, maybe for your own habits or for just where to start or something like that. Like I said before, this is more of a personal goal. So if you want to like use the framework, but maybe for business goals, like feel free to do that too. I think no matter what you do, having goals and having ways to track those goals, like in a habit tracker form, is always going to be helpful. But the point of like why habits even matter, this is just my personal opinion, but if you don't have some sort of a routine, you're going to feel lost, or you're going to feel kind of scattered or all over the place. And in my brain, a routine is kind of made up of a bunch of habits. And so that's, to me, how you build your career, or you build your business, or you build your life, is around a series of habits, a routine. And when you're starting something new, or you're beginning something that you've never done before, it's a clean slate. You don't have a routine, and it's confusing, and it's hard, and it's challenging to know what habits to create, I think. And so some people, I think, refrain from creating any at all, which is also, I don't think, like the right answer, because then you just lack in productivity. And some people do function well without having these sort of staples in place. But regardless, I think it's just an important topic, because ultimately some people just don't even recognize that they're missing out on like having habits, or they're missing out on creating something that would like bolster their productivity, or that would bolster their goals, or like bring them closer to their goals. And so I don't know. I just think it's fascinating for some reason. You couldn't tell, I did a lot of research in college, so like data for some reason is just fascinating to me. The second thing that I wanted to say is talking about habits with content creation, because I get this question all the time. And I just had this conversation with my team lead. So I, on my team, am the director of social media and support. Director of social media influence and support. And I work closely with my team lead's daughter, who does compliance. She's a realtor, and she does their social media, I think. But she's just graduating school, so I'm kind of, I think, supposed to be like mentoring her on social media stuff. And so we had a meeting last week, and she was telling me how her dad struggles with social media because of the fact that he doesn't like having to sit down and record things for hours, and like, just feels like fake and lacks that connection. And I was like, wait. He does not need to do that. I don't do that. I mean, this podcast is the only instance where I sit down once a week and record myself in a formal environment, because it's a podcast. But everything else that I do is like in vivo, which means like in the moment. Like I am making TikToks while I'm doing showings. I'm waiting for buyers to show up. So I'm in my car. I have 5 extra minutes. I make a TikTok. I am preparing showing documents. I make a TikTok. I am using those moments of time where some people spend those moments scrolling on their phone. I spend those moments making videos on my phone. And we have the same 5 minutes. It's just what you do with those 5 minutes. So I choose to create the habit of creating content, and that content also compounds on top of itself, because guess what? It doesn't go anywhere. Those views don't go anywhere. Those comments don't go anywhere. They continue to grow. Your account continues to grow. there's brands and sponsorships involved. There's affiliate marketing involved. Like all of these things through social media, it's like this huge butterfly effect, right? Like you start these habits of creating content and it just takes 5 minutes a day. It's like you take your 5 minutes that you scroll on your phone in your car before showing to make content. That 5 minutes a day compounds. Every day you know, that's 35 minutes a week of content that you have. And now, oh my gosh, how much is that in a month? I don't even know. Wow, that's a lot of videos, a lot of potential for views, a lot of potential for a lot of brand deals, sponsorships, affiliates. And that's just talking about the monetization piece. But if you're looking for community engagement and all of that, I mean, oh my gosh, there's so much more potential too, because that's free. So, you know, it's really all starting with a habit. And that's my point here. A few tips for habits too. They mostly just kind of fall under this umbrella of you should schedule your habits. And the reason I say this is because things that we don't schedule, we neglect. And that is just a fact. If you think about things in your life where you're like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then you don't write it down or you don't like put it on a calendar or you don't like schedule that with your friend. When did it happen? Yeah, you let me know if it did. Because 9 times out of 10, when we do that, it just doesn't happen and we don't follow through. And so we need to actually like put those things in writing. And that's what we do with our habits too. If it's, a habit tracker, if it is blocking out time on your calendar for your habits, 10 minutes a day to dedicate to your habits or however long you need to do your habits or whatever, it's up to you and how you like to like structure things. Because some people, might want to spread them out through the day or they have to spread them through the day. Or some people might want to knock it out all at once or, however you personally work and want to do that. But if you have it on your calendar, you're going to be way more likely to do it. And you've already made the time to do it. So what else are you going to do during that time besides that thing? Because otherwise, you're just going to sit around and twiddle your thumbs thinking about how, wow, I could really be doing that habit that I scheduled for right now, but instead I am doing nothing. So, just kind of that accountability piece too. Also, realistic. Be realistic. You don't need to be Wonder Woman, okay? Like, oh my gosh, I have so many stories. I mean, I'm still like this, but when I was in high school too, I could not say no. I had a problem. Because I was just one, like afraid of letting people down, but two, I was ambitious as all hell. I don't know what the heck. I just really wanted to go to an amazing college. I wanted scholarships. I wanted like so many different things. And I kind of needed scholarships, to be honest. So I was just really trying. But I was in 20 clubs. I was in, like, you should have seen the cords I had at graduation, which was I'm proud of that accomplishment. But what I'm trying to say is that I had stress out the wazoo because I did not prioritize myself or my mental health or any of that stuff when I was in high school, which is probably what caused my anxiety and OCD to start, if you listened to last week's episode. But what I'm trying to say here is that you don't need to try to do all these habits if they're going to be an added stressor to your life. To me, a habit is something that you do and that you create to relieve stress or to effectively help you reach a goal. It's something that's going to make your life better, that's going to make you more happy, not make you more stressed out. So if that means, if you set this habit of waking up at 3 a.m. every day to work out before work and shower at the gym and do all this stuff, but then you are so exhausted at work that you're falling asleep in your meeting, I mean, that's not productive because then you're not even your work is not happening, right? So you have to think about what your priority is, I guess, and then make sure that you're able to cover all the things that you're actually trying to cover. I don't know. that maybe is just something that I have a problem with. And if you don't, then don't even worry about it. For me, I just try to spread myself too thin, I think sometimes, but I've definitely gotten better with that as I got older with saying no. I've definitely gotten better with setting boundaries and just being like, oh, sorry, no, I'm not doing that this weekend. Or like, I have too much going on this week, so I know this weekend I'm going to need to prioritize my time for myself, kind of a thing. The other thing that I think is really freaking cool is that sometimes habits involve not doing something. So sometimes you're actually like saving time by starting doing a habit. So avoiding distractions, like if you're not going on TikTok, not going to social media, not eating candy, not spending money, not drinking soda, like doing those things, like if it's a not, then it means you're taking something away from your life. And in turn, you're getting back time, which I think is actually kind of cool. Because that means that even though, you're like wanting that thing in the moment, if you have a craving for that thing, at least you can remind yourself that you're getting the time back or the money back. That's a really big reward, and something that I would help remind my clients of if I was doing this in therapy with them, of just like, I understand that urge that you're having, right? Like that premonitory urge of like, I need that thing. But hey, you didn't just spend $200 on a shopping spree. You have $200 in your wallet right now. Or, hey, you didn't just eat 1,000 calories and you have 30 minutes of your day back. That would be like something for binge eating disorder. I'm like getting so therapeutic. Anyway, but so saving time through habits, like if you build healthy habits, sometimes you can save yourself time and then create other things that you'd rather do. Last tip that I want to give you guys before I give you my like tools that I use for tracking habits and stuff is don't get confused between motivation and discipline. Because you can be a very motivated individual and have no discipline. And you can be a very disciplined individual, but have no motivation. So they're not interchangeable. And this is important to know because just because right now you're listening to this and you're feeling motivated to set habits doesn't mean that 10 days from now, when you're on day 10 of habit tracking, that you're going to wake up feeling determined to track your habits. So you need to remember your why. At least that's, for me, something that's helpful, something that motivates me is remembering what made me want to track that habit, what brought me to that reason. And if that is writing that down, putting that somewhere visible for you, even writing the goals down or putting up pictures of goals, anything visual is usually really great to be a reminder of like, hey, this is what I'm working towards and this is why I did this thing. And even though it's sucking right now, I'm actually going to keep doing this because I'm using my discipline. So self-discipline. So that is kind of like the difference in my mind of motivation and discipline. Like motivation is like the feeling of wanting to do it. And then the discipline is the action of actually making yourself do it. Help yourself with that distinction. Start small, track it, which with habits, it's really easy to do with all the tools that they have these days. And I'll tell you my favorites in a second. And then reward yourself. I am such a proponent of a reward system. Oh my freaking gosh. Like if it's a token economy, I sound like an intro to psychology textbook. I'm so sorry. But if you do anything, it's reward yourself because that's going to keep you consistent. I'm just speaking from scientific facts. I love doing things like this for myself. When I was younger, I used to like literally, if I was studying from a book, I would like put like gummy bears in between the pages and I would like eat them like when I was in like middle school. But like now that I'm older, I'll do different things. Like if it's a budgeting reward, like I will set myself up with like, I can purchase something when I reach the certain budgeting goal. When I get a house under contract, I will go to the mall and purchase a new outfit for closing day. So something that's businessy, because when I first got my real estate license, I didn't have very many business outfits because I was 19. So I was like, okay, this is how I'll get my wardrobe, because it's also expensive to buy a bunch of business clothes. So each transaction, I was like, I'll buy a new outfit and have a substantial business wardrobe, but I still do it because it's nice to get a new outfit, obviously. And then it just makes you feel extra confident on closing day. It's good for the picture. It's a write-off. I don't know. It's just like a fun thing that I do, but that's my reward. It's like, okay, you accomplished the goal. You close the house. Now you get this reward. I don't know. That's another one that I do. Okay, so the things and the tools that I use to habit track, to make sure that I'm keeping up with my routines, that I'm keeping consistent, all of the above. My cat's going to join us, and I am going to let her because she has been down in the dumps lately. She just started medication. I'm such a mom. She just started medication. First and foremost, there are about a bajillion apps out there that you can use. Software and apps and things like that are not hard to do, but I personally use like the habit tracker is like, I'm pretty sure the name of it. And they allow you to track up to 5 habits for free. Any more than that, I think you have to pay, but you can even use like the widget on your phone to put it on your home screen, and they let you put customized like emojis and everything. It's cute. Like, I think it's cute. I don't know, but I use that app and I do not pay for it. I just use it. And love. So if that's something you're interested in, I would definitely look into those apps. Although if you have like a bajillion habits, maybe you need a different app, because that one seems like it would be kind of expensive. Other than that, I also just love using the widgets on the phone in general. The ones through the health app on Apple let you track your medications. They let you track your mental health. So how are you feeling throughout the day, which are things that I track too. And I would consider that a habit that I maintain, of like my medications and just like my mental health in general. And so those things I would also put in that category. If you've ever heard of Notion, it is the most amazing platform ever. I wish I used it more. I don't for some reason, although I know it is amazing. Like, I've used it and it's great. For some reason, I just don't like find a need for it in my personal business. But if you have more of like a team, I think that's when it comes into play more so. And I highly recommend. And then the last tool thing that I do is my whiteboard. I mean, that's something I use, I guess, not do, but it is over here sitting right next to me. And you guys have seen this in my business planning episode, but it has all my goals written right on top. This is how I break down habits, right? So if I were to break down habits for my business plan, I would do it from this board. And I would consider this a part of that same sort of like structure, because of the fact that this is how I track how many houses I sell. And even though that's not necessarily like a part of a habit, I feel like I can include that in here because it's some form of tracking, if you know what I mean. But I can't show it to you guys right now because it has client information on it now since I've started using it for the year. But it is looking great. And I have 2 new clients up on the board. So there are now 9 active clients for this year so far. Crazy, 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 crazy. And then the last tool in my tool belt is really just having an accountability partner. And I say this just because saying things out loud makes them 10 times more real. Even if you say it to yourself, it's more real, but then saying it to someone else is like real, because once you say it to someone else, you really can't like take it back. So if you tell someone you're going to do something, you feel like more inclined to do it. At least I do. I don't know if that's another me thing. It's hard when you don't know how other people's brains work, but yeah, I think that just even saying things out loud is helpful. Writing them down, journaling, whatever you need to do to put it like into the universe, if that makes it more real for you, I suggest doing that too. I think that's really all I wanted to say about habits. I think the main thing is that having them is good. They really help create a routine, and then having a routine bolsters your business plan and it makes you more productive. It's just statistics. So, whatever you need to do to track those things, you do you. These things that I mentioned are obviously the things that I do, what works for me and what helps. And then someone asked for this week's question, realistically, how soon do you think someone can close their first deal after getting their license? So if you want like the realistic answer, I mean, I'll tell you exactly what I did. So my first sale was under contract after about a month, and then it closed after like another month. So it was about 2 months in that I had my first deal like done. But it was only 3 weeks in that I had my first rental close. So I got my first check like 3 weeks in. But rentals are obviously a little bit different, and they're not as much money and like quicker process and all of that. But I did have my first like property under contract in a month of practicing real estate. So that is something that was realistic for me. Now, I say this online all the time and people comment that this is not realistic. This was in 2021, so I'm just honest about the fact that the market is different now, and I don't know, if I had done this now, if I would have the same results, but that's just my opinion. I think also you have to remember that it does take like a minimum, usually 30 days for a loan to close. So keep that in mind. It's always going to take at least 30 days pretty much for a loan to close, for you to get your money is what I'm trying to say. And you have to find the house at least. So, or if it's a listing, you got to sell the house. So it's a process. I wouldn't expect to make any money like right away, at least not within the first month. Got to have your emergency savings for sure, or I wouldn't even call it emergency savings. Just save for those first few months. Don't expect to make anything. So that is my experience. I hope that helps you. And I hope that, you get your first sale soon if you are already licensed or when you get your license. I'm a little distracted because this cat keeps attacking my monitor and he's hard to keep in my arms. So I'm going to go, you guys. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. As you're listening, I am in Punta Cana, so I will be on the beach. And I will see you guys next Friday. Love y'all. Have a good one. Bye.